What's up everybody and welcome back. All two of you that saw my last video. Not too much to say, just gonna get right into it. Take a trip down the rabbit hole again. So sit back, relax, get your popcorn and enjoy. You know I like to start the day off right, man.
Finally say with confidence that the most unlikely sounding theories about UFOs are actually true. Yes, these things are real. They're not all weather balloons. They're not experimental aircraft from this or any other country. Whatever they are not of human origin, nor do they behave according to the laws of known physics. And yes, the US government currently has physical evidence that they exist. That means wreckage of the craft as well as the bodies of the beings that flew them. Amazingly, all of this is true. We know that from the detailed testimony, much of it under oath, from several high-level whistleblowers, including longtime intel officers Lou Elizondo and Dave Grush, both of whom we've talked to. But there have been many, about 10 so far. So the question is, now that the UAP Disclosure Act has passed, when can the rest of us see the information that we paid for and in fact own?
Shows what you know.
I actually made this video. It's from the Hawaii Observation Station. It was on CBS News, and look at what happened to appear. What the hell is that? That thing is sick.
An amazing
This
video.
is crazy. UFOs and volcanoes,
This goes
take
inside
one.
the crater. Just a year later, we got a new one, and we were able to see again a UFO going inside the crater, right there. Why? I think they use the magnetism. I don't think there is a base there. I think they use the magnetism of the volcano to go somewhere else. Look at that. We have a camera now, live camera. You can watch it in YouTube. And thanks to that, look, this stops right there, and now it's going to come down to go inside the volcano on one of the sides. See?
Now you see me, and now you don't.
Stops right there. For a moment it stops and then goes down. This is in Japan. Look at that. What is that? That's huge. This is the temperature. Two cameras. Two volcanoes at the same time, two cameras recording. You see, and next day was still there. Still there. 12 hours later. This is the fire volcano. You see, it's moving. This is frames, it's not continuous video, it's pictures. And you can see the movement. And now it's still there. More than 16, 18 hours later, and then disappears. You see, and they come out from it. They come in and go out. Is that a meteor? It's above the volcano? What a coincidence.
That's no coincidence.
In South America. Look at that. No, sorry, this is Indonesia. This is Indonesia. Look at that. The photographer said, oh, what a coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think they go inside because they use the magnetism to create a porthole and go somewhere else. How many? Oh, they come out? They come in, they go out.
Bye-bye.
Volcanoes, my friends.
Bye-bye.
They are here. Look at that. So many. Why? Because we have a camera.
Shameless plug. Better view of that same one disappearing right to the side of the mountain. I think it probably travels through lava tubes through different parts of the earth and maybe elsewhere. Cigar shaped. Sounds pretty common. Cigar shaped. so cool and so creepy all at the same time. It's like, what the hell are they up to?
Okay, check this out.
Y ve, ahí va. Ahí va. Acercándose a la apertura principal.
You'll see a craft hovering around this volcano. This is awesome footage.
Y ve cómo pasa por el volcán. Y no le importa. Este volcán de Islandia.
There's no way a drone could do that. That thing, a drone or helicopter, anything with above there would melt.
Ahí está en el cráter, está. Ahí está. ¿Y lo ven? Y hace una movida impresionante. Mira, me voy a acercar mucho para que lo vean. Es este. Vean qué movida hace ahorita.
That is amazing.
Ahí está. Y ven cómo bloquean la cámara. ¿Ya viste cómo bloquean? Ahí está, ahí está. Ahí está. En la orilla del cráter. Y se cruza por el centro del fuego. Como los que entran al Popocatépetl lo hacen, o sea, se meten por la lava, no les importa. Ahorita como que desaparece porque está dentro del fuego, pero ahorita aparece del otro lado.
Look at the left side of the volcano. The thing comes out of the lava.
Ahí va.
Look at that.
Watch it leave.
Ahí va, ahí va.
See it leaving? You ask yourself, why would a UFO be hovering around a volcano? What would be the point of this? And I believe this video was sent to me earlier this morning, so this was some really good footage of this. And I don't know what kind of craft it is. It's so small, it's hard to tell, but I will say this. I believe that there are portals into different dimensions and things like that in places like that, because we know that we can get nowhere near this. But those things, being in those, you hear about them being in warp bubbles and things like that, they're not in the same, they're not feeling the heat of that. They're in, so this is unexplainable, but you tell me, what do you think? Could it be a portal, a gateway of some sort? This is what I'm gathering. This is what I'm just kind of theorizing, saying it could possibly be. I don't know. You tell me.
Let me know in the comments if you agree with him.
Se aparece un orbe impresionante. No sé si se puede ver, ahí se puede ver, ahí va. Ese orbe se coloca en una nueva fisura.
This is the same video, but a little bit closer up.
Que no se puede bien por la imagen, pero ven cómo se
Without
empieza a
Guitar
mover.
Miles talking over it.
Está como monitoreando el volcán. Ahí está. Me voy a acercar rápido para que se pueda apreciar, pero como es en una pantalla, se distorsiona la imagen. Es este que está ahí. Y empieza a hacer unas movidas, porque es en vivo esta imagen. En este volcán que se llama y ahí anda posicionadito. Y ya se empezó a mover, ahí está moviéndose. ¿Ya lo vieron moverse? Ya se cambió de posición. Y lo hace cuando se abre esta ruptura. Esta fisura no existía hace 15 minutos. Y ve, ahí va. Ahí va. Acercándose a
Anybody know what he's saying?
Impresionante. Y ve cómo pasa por el volcán.
Look at that thing.
Y no le importa.
It creates its own force field basically around it. That's why it's impervious. It can go through
Ahí está.
anything. That's what makes it anti-gravity.
Ahí está. Ahí está en el cráter. Está. Ahí está. ¿Y lo ven? Y hace una movida impresionante. Me voy a acercar mucho para que lo vean. Es este. Vean qué movida hace ahorita. Ahí está. Y ven cómo bloquean la cámara. ¿Ya viste cómo bloquean?
Get your head out the way.
Ahí está. En la orilla del cráter. Y
se cruza por el centro del fuego, como los que entran al Popocatépetl lo hacen, o sea, se meten por la lava, no les importa. Ahorita como que desaparece.
I've seen people in the comments on TikTok saying that, oh, it's a drone. I don't think that's a drone. It's literally right over the lava.
Ahí va. Como que hizo su trabajo y ya se va. Ya me voy. Ya se va. La nueva apertura en Islandia. Volcán activo. Cambios geográficos.
This video is becoming a sensation. UFO is seen in mid-air over South America. This looks a lot like the objects that were captured on October 16th by Camilo A. Herrera, who posted these photos and said that the UFO was seen in mid-air over South America on that day at 5 p.m. over Calamadarian. It remained static for about 40 minutes and then descended into a forest. Relatively large in size, captured with a 4 Humblad per minute lens. It was too large to be any of the 3 usual suspects. The only one that fits is a large balloon. But what's odd is that it remained static for a long time and descended instead of rising further. I'd say it behaves like those 3, but not exactly. Fernando Jimenez posted, "Not everything is a pillow balloon, you know." This one is very tantalizing, in my opinion. Looking at its morphology, a few other sightings come to mind. These ads were somewhat reminiscent. We have another incident in Colombia, a diamond disc-like object with a small sphere coming back not so long ago. As well as that one photo sighting in Crete, fuzziness, and a similar object near Colima del Fuego volcano.
There's an incredible UFO case in the Middle East.
It's filled with light. There goes the energy flash.
Look at it.
It just hangs there for a bit, and it gives off that incredible flash of energy that covers all of Jerusalem.
This was witnessed by a lot of people.
Many people.
There had to have been a message why they visited that spot.
There it goes, flash, and it went straight up. They've arrived. They're here. People said from the ground that they had seen a baby delivered by this.
At 5 a.m. on March 20th, 2021, a live CCTV camera captured a strange phenomenon occurring on the Popocatépetl volcano. This mysterious event resembled a portal, evoking images of an interdimensional gateway. Popocatépetl is well known for its frequent UFO sightings, leading some to speculate that this could be the means through which these unidentified objects enter our
Could
world
that be
from
a
somewhere
wormhole?
else. What was Iraq actually hiding? There's a theory that the U.S. stayed in Iraq for over a decade after it was liberated, not because of oil, but something way more powerful. In the 1920s, a British explorer discovered what was rumored to be the oldest known stargate in the world, a device that's essentially able to take people across interstellar distances instantly. It was located at what is known today as the Great Ziggurat. However, in the 1980s, Saddam Hussein fortified the ancient complex in an attempt to keep explorers from seeing what was hidden inside. Furthermore, strange ancient technology has been seen coming out of the Great Ziggurat, rumored to have come through the Stargate from an ancient civilization now living on the hidden planet Nibiru. People who have come out and spoken about these strange devices and coincidentally went missing soon after, with many more people and recent times coming forward, claiming to have been involved in classified programs in Iraq where Stargate technology was used. Many people are wondering.
Interesting thing.
I could listen to Jai Rogan read off a piece of paper, it sounds like. It's like he's stumbling to get through it. It's supposed to be an AI brain behind that. Jai Rogan experience.
The thing about the Grand Canyon is the presence of Stargate. Now this is where it gets interesting. People watch giants like 24 feet taken out of the Grand Canyon. These giants were eating the people. 90% of the Grand Canyon is off limits. You can't go.
The live alien that had been taken from the 1949 Roswell crash was called EB. It was short for extraterrestrial biological entity, and all aliens are not called EB.
This is William Cooper from like a 1992 speech. That's supposed to be a picture of the alien that... Well, you listen to him.
EB had a tendency to lie, and for over a year would give only the desired answers to questions asked. Those questions which would have resulted in an undesirable answer went unanswered. At some point during the second year of captivity, he began to open up, and the information derived from EB was startling, to say the least. And this compilation of his revelations became the foundation of what would later be finished, called the Yellow Book. Photographs were taken of EB, which among others, I and Bill English were to view years later in Grudge 13.
Kind of looks like a meth addict.
In a Faraday-shielded environment? Because they have a tendency to disappear right through walls. And if you can prevent the transmission of electromagnetic energy, you can stop them from doing it. And if you can prevent the transmission of electromagnetic energy, you can stop them from doing it. In late 1951, EB became ill. Medical personnel had been unable to determine the cause of EB's illness and had no background from which to draw. EB's system was chlorophyll-based, and he processed food into energy much the same as plants. Waste material was excreted almost exactly the same as plants. It was decided that an expert in botany was called for. A botanist, Dr. Guillermo Mendoza, was brought in to try and help him recover. Those of you who have been looking for him on medical lists will not find him there. He was a PhD.
When did things get weird?
The time where I entered the hangar, I witnessed...
I couldn't find the part 2 to that interview, so sorry. But what do you think? That thing real? Do you think that thing was real? Or do you think that's bullshit? I don't know. It was pretty crazy to look into its eyes. Alright, let's hear about Bob Lazar.
Recovered alien spacecraft.
The disc, the flying saucer that I worked on.
The Department of Naval Intelligence in the United States was back engineering.
Despite intense scrutiny over the years, Lazar's account has remained consistent, and he has passed multiple polygraph tests.
I had a little American flag stuck on the side, and I thought, this finally explains all the flying saucer stories.
Working at a classified base known as S4 out in the Nevada desert.
They had one of the reactors out of the crafts, which was an antimatter reactor.
It was in the demonstration of the reactor working. This is technology that doesn't even exist. When it was running, it produced a gravitational field of its own. Now, this is something that we can't do.
Efforts to discredit him, including claims of falsifying his educational background and criminal activity, have not been substantiated.
We called the lab. They said, no, he wasn't here. We don't have any record of him. And then we found the lab phone book with his name in it. I called him back. I said, well, there it is. Well, we still don't have any records.
You're going into this craft. What are you seeing?
It's a very ominous feeling because, first of all, everything is one color. It's like a dark pewter color, and there are no right angles. Everything looks like it's fused together.
What do you think this was designed for?
The seats were small. Obviously, it was made for something small. There's nothing else in there. There's just seats, the reactor, and some of the subcomponents. There's no control panels. There's no bathroom. It's just a very bare bones thing. The reactor was in the dead center. Around there were 3 seats. They're not consoles. They're large rectangular objects. There's nothing on them. There's no buttons. There's no lights.
And they look
control.
Same color, the same
Everything
thing.
is the same
It's
color.
just a different shape.
Right. Those are the gravity amplifiers, the big rectangular objects. Underneath them are the gravity emitters. I physically was in the center section, and I stuck my torso in the bottom section and hung upside down so I could see how the gravity amplifiers were positioned. It doesn't fly like a flying saucer would in a 1950s movie. It flies belly first. I mean, it may set down conventionally, but it always rotates. It does a roll maneuver, puts its
I was gonna say, look at the Navy craft. The infamous Navy footage. Rolling on its belly
towards the target.
UFO spotted in annual Fleet Week, May 2023.
Okay, just wait
We are
for
running out
it.
of time.
Watching Fox. And something just flew by these military planes.
Watch him fly past his head. I cut and zoom in on it here. Back engineered U.S. craft.
Who is currently up there on the International Space Station right now, has suggested he may have filmed a UFO in orbit. I want to show you the video he posted. This happened when he was filming the Aurora Borealis. He was doing a time lapse. Just into the time lapse, there's a few objects that appear. We're going to freeze it for you so you can get a good look at it. 5 objects.
Pretty sure that's
flying alongside
Elon
each other
Musk's fucking
with the same
Starlink
distance in between them.
screwing up the skies.
Ivan Wagner, the cosmonaut in question, tweeted, quote, "What do you think these are? Meteorites, satellites, or ... He suggested they may have been, quote, space guests. Whatever they were obviously arranged in a clear, angled line. The cosmonaut says he sent his video to the authorities in Russia for further evaluation."
Imagine this scenario. The US government has acquired intelligence indicating the presence of a concealed Stargate in central Iraq. According to this information, the Stargate was placed there by the Anunnaki, the ancient gods of Sumeria. This device utilizes time travel technology, enabling individuals and equipment to traverse another dimension beyond the confines of space-time. This alternate dimension allows instantaneous travel across galaxies, potentially even to other galaxies, with a return to space-time on a different planet. Adding to this narrative, the government learns that Nibiru, often referred to as the 12th planet, is about to pass through the solar system on its 3,600-year orbit within a few months. During Nibiru's closest approach to Earth, the Anunnaki, who supposedly constructed the Stargate, might use the opportunity to journey to Earth through the Stargate and establish a presence in Iraq. Such an event would likely strengthen the existing regime in Iraq. Recognizing the imperative to prevent such an outcome, US government leaders determined that, in collaboration with extraterrestrial allies, they must undertake a military intervention in Iraq to shut down the Stargate. However, other countries such as Russia, Germany, and France, intimately acquainted with Iraq's archaeological heritage, are aware of the US intentions and prefer to maintain the Stargate operational. This stance aims to prevent American global dominance. As time grows short, President Bush authorizes an invasion of Iraq. American scientists seize artifacts from a museum and effectively deactivate the Stargate, thwarting the aspirations of Saddam Hussein and his ambitions linked to the Anunnaki. This action is perceived as safeguarding the establishment of a new world order. The concept of a potential connection between Earth and the stars, hinted at in the vicinity of ancient ruins, comes to the forefront. This scenario, far from a movie or TV series sequel, is the brainchild of Dr. Michael Salla, whose academic background may not suggest such imaginative theories. Dr. Salla's exopolitical theory argues that extraterrestrial presence should be a pivotal factor in political decisions. He proposes the term exopolitics to denote the policy discourse about how governments and societies should respond to the presence of extraterrestrial beings in human affairs. Dr. Salla asserts that exopolitics is already being conducted covertly by major world powers. He presents different perspectives on the extraterrestrial presence, ranging from benevolent helpers to potential intruders, and advocates for transparency in government decision-making on these matters. In his analysis, Dr. Salla calls for the establishment of exopolitics as a field of study in academia, immediate disclosure of relevant information, open discussion on ET-related technologies, and comprehensive oversight of clandestine activities involving extraterrestrial interactions. Dr. Saleh suggests that the urgency behind the US invasion of Iraq may be attributed to hidden exopolitical considerations. He contends that the discovery of advanced technology left behind by the Anunnaki, combined with potential alliances, prompted the invasion. The theory also explores the notion of a stargate buried beneath Iraq's sands, potentially at the ancient site of Uruk, which could link Earth to distant regions of space. Dr. Saleh's ideas are influenced by the work of William Henry and Zecharia Sitchin. In essence, Dr. Saleh's theory contends that contemporary political decisions are heavily influenced by covert exopolitical factors, necessitating a shift towards transparency and public involvement to navigate the complex challenges presented by extraterrestrial presence. In the realm of conspiracy theories and urban legends, the tale of the Kandahar giant is mysterious and captivating. The story tells of a group of US military personnel encountering a colossal humanoid creature in the rugged landscapes of the Kandahar region in Afghanistan. This larger-than-life being, reportedly standing at a staggering height of 12 to 15 feet, has fueled speculations and conjectures that resonate with ancient myths and legends of giants. Could this account hold a connection to the Nephilim, the mythical figures mentioned in various cultural and religious narratives? The story of the Kandahar giant reads like a modern-day epic. Allegedly, during the US military's involvement in Afghanistan, a squad of Special Forces soldiers stumbled upon this gigantic being. An intense firefight purportedly ensued, ultimately leading to the demise of the massive humanoid. Proponents of the story argue that this discovery was concealed by the US government, suggesting a deliberate attempt to suppress the existence of giants. One fascinating aspect that has captured the imagination of those who delve into ancient lore is the potential connection to the Nephilim. In 2016, a significant wave of online discussions emerged, gaining momentum and sparking curiosity across various platforms. At the heart of this discourse were two emails that has been made public on the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, website. The emails originate from the declassified archives of former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and their contents have ignited interest and speculation. The messages, sent by Denitra D. Senegar and Steve Pereshiska, were accompanied by a subject line that reads, "Requesting documents pertaining to the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh, the location of his body, and the location of the buried Nephilim." The FOIA website serves as a repository of declassified documents that the public can access, fostering transparency and understanding in governmental processes and historical events. Within this virtual repository, the email in question stands out as a focal point of intrigue, drawing attention due to its unconventional subject matter and its association with historical figures and mythological narratives. The email's author, Denitra D. Senegar, has brought to light a series of compelling queries. The focus on the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh, the potential location of his remains, and the enigmatic burial sites of the Nephilim offers a glimpse into a world where history, legend, and the arcane converge. Gilgamesh, a figure from ancient Mesopotamian lore, has captured the imagination of scholars and enthusiasts alike for centuries. His story, documented in the Epic of Gilgamesh, weaves a tale of human struggles, aspirations, and the pursuit of eternal life. The mere mention of a resurrection chamber linked to Gilgamesh transports readers into a realm where myth meets reality, raising questions about the possible existence of such structures and their role in ancient beliefs. Equally captivating is the reference to the Nephilim, entities found in various mythologies and religious texts. These beings, often depicted as offspring of divine beings and humans, inhabit a realm of mystery and fascination. Their connection to the story at hand, combined with the request for documents regarding their burial sites, introduces an element of mystique that extends beyond conventional historical inquiry. The Nephilim's presence in the email implies a connection between the mythic and the tangible, prompting speculation about their potential genetic markers and archaeological remnants.
In December of 2018, the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office issued a number of seemingly out-of-this-world patents to the Navy for a hybrid aerospace undersea craft capable of extreme speeds in both water, the air, and in outer space. a true transmedium military platform. Technologies such as, quote, a high-temperature superconductor, a high-frequency gravitational electromagnetic wave generator, a force field like electromagnetic field generator, a plasma compression fusion device. This aerospace vehicle, utilizing the mentioned components, would be able to achieve truly extraordinary feats of speed and maneuverability in all three mediums of air, water, and space.
And lava.
This sounds eerily similar to some of the established 5 observables of UFOs encountered by Navy pilots in recent years. The ongoing disclosure of the Navy admitting its personnel regularly encounter UFOs keeps getting stranger. The technology contained within takes advantage of a quantum mechanics concept known as the Pace effect, manipulating quantum fluctuations present in the vacuum of empty space. The inventor, Dr. Salvatore Pais, worked on this project while employed by the Naval Air Warfare Center. Dr. Pais breaks down his transmedium craft down to 4 major components: an inner and outer wall, microwave emitters, and a technology called an inertial mass reduction device. The craft works, he says, by creating high-frequency electromagnetic waves throughout the cavity between the inner and outer walls, causing it to vibrate.
I'm building one in my garage.
This wall cavity will be filled with a noble gas. Dr. Pace states that if done correctly, the craft will interact with the empty space surrounding it, allow it to then behave anomalously. Quantum mechanics for years predicted that empty space is not at all empty, but filled with microscopic fluctuations. That is the fabric of reality, is filled with subatomic particles that blink in and out of existence, known as the Casimir force. It's this that Dr. Pais suggests can propel his craft. According to the Navy patents, in order to break this quantum vacuum energy, it details another patented device, a high-energy electromagnetic field generator. The field generator is encased in a shell made from a ceramic metamaterial. An electric motor contained within forces this metaceramic to spin. When spinning fast enough, this unique metamaterial will generate a strong electromagnetic field. These energy fields can engineer the fabric of our reality at the most fundamental level. While this technology may seem from the realm of science fiction, quantum mechanics does show in theory, and with the required material sciences, this craft will work. Dr. Pace believes this plasma-lined hull, surrounded by an electromagnetic field, can achieve a state called macroscopic quantum coherence. Simply put, macroscopic quantum coherence is something we can observe that retains and exhibits very strange quantum-like phenomena. This effect can be observed with helium. When cooled to near absolute zero, it begins to do things that sound impossible. Leak right through a solid glass beaker, evaporate upwards against the force of gravity, and when stirred, it forms a vortex that will continue to rotate indefinitely. Dr. Pace suggests the craft itself can reach this exotic state. It's here we begin to cross over into truly anomalous UFO-type characteristics of quantum weirdness. Since interacting with vacuum, the craft will essentially be pulling particles out of vacuum, creating a void, allowing for smooth sailing through the void. All the main concepts mentioned, vacuum energy, macro quantum behavior, have been proven repeatedly in experiments. Consider this: if helium superfluidity behavior looks strange to you, imagine how a technological craft with these properties may look to an observer. Dr. Pace says in the patent that such a craft as his may need to be of triangular shape or cone in order to work. Such technology concepts does raise the question, could the Tic Tac have in fact been a Navy weapons platform test? Or was it truly anomalous, perhaps non-human technology at work? You be the judge.
Of according to Stephen Greer, that was U.S. certified aircraft.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Stargate is something that I've been hearing a lot about. I see people when Stargate gets brought up, and I see a lot of this. I don't think people know what Stargate is. I don't know what Stargate is. So could you give us a quick brief on what the Stargate program is?
Stargate program, from my understanding, and I'm still doing a lot of research into it because it's very prevalent in our community and impacting our children, so it's very important that people understand that. The Stargate program, as I experienced it, was I would get removed from the standard curriculum classroom in my grammar school and would be brought to the library. At the time, they weren't really explaining to us what was going on. It was just very bizarre to me. In my research since then, I've discovered that it was the Robert Monroe Institute's protocols for remote viewing that we were being trained in. I was given eye drops, unbeknownst to my parents, and it's my understanding that it was some sort of hybrid LSD that was very fast acting as well as fast wearing.
I'm Dr. Daniel Jackson, and behind me is a Stargate. Found in Giza, Egypt in 1928, we now know it was originally built millennia ago by an alien race who we call the Ancients. Over the next few hours, we'll be touching on some of the things you need to know about the Stargate and how it works. There are 39 symbols representing star constellations as seen from Earth, capable of transporting people, objects, hundreds of thousands of light years via an interstellar wormhole. Within the Milky Way galaxy, a 7-symbol address is used. The first 6 symbols lock down a point in space, while the 7th represents the point of origin. When a connection is made between 2 stargates, an unstable energy vortex emerges from the gate and settles into the event horizon, or puddle, as we like to call it. Later, it was discovered that using an 8th symbol would actually dial another galaxy. It is believed an unprecedented amount of power is required to reach the near mythical 9 chevron destination. Icarus Base was established on a planet discovered 2 years ago to have a uniquely powerful core made of the mineral Nequadria. The entire purpose of the project is to hopefully one day dial the 9 chevron address found in the ancient database. Hi, I'm Dr. Daniel Jackson. Now, you've heard the term hyperspace for years in sci-fi movies and television shows, but what does it really mean? Well, basically, we live our lives in 3 dimensions plus time. That's another DVD. Hyperspace, also called subspace, is another dimension in which certain laws of physics, like the speed of light or the effects of relativity, don't apply. Now, by entering hyperspace, a ship can travel vast distances at speeds many times the speed of light and return to normal space once it reaches its destination. The actual math of how it all works is still highly classified, and I'm not completely sure I understand it myself, but it's how most advanced races get around the galaxy when they're not using a Stargate. Hi, I'm Daniel Jackson. The Ancients were once a race of humans known as Alterans. They left their galaxy to avoid a war with another race of humans called the Ori. They flew to the Milky Way millions of years ago and first landed on the planet Dakara. From there, they made their way to Earth, which they would call home for some time. The Ancients are the inventors of the Stargates, and much of the advanced technology that was later usurped and used by the Goa'uld to enforce their rule. Prior to that, the Ancients left for Pegasus, and then ultimately some of them returned to the Milky Way, where it is believed they used their knowledge to restart human life as we know it on Earth. At some point, they evolved both physically and mentally to the point where they no longer required their human bodies. Which brings me to my next topic. My name is Dr. Daniel Jackson. Ascension is an extremely advanced evolutionary process whereby the human consciousness becomes pure energy and actually rises to a higher plane of existence. While it takes several thousand years of evolution for humans to reach the point where they can attain the state of being naturally, a less evolved person can actually be ascended by other ascended beings. In fact, it happened to me once. I have little memory of it now, but I can tell you ascension comes with a much greater understanding of the universe and the forces of nature within it. The power that comes with that knowledge is potentially dangerous if misused, as we have seen with the Ori. It is for this reason that ascended ancients now have a strict rule about non-interference in our human existence. I could go on about that, but we would probably have to get another tape. Hi, I'm Dr. Daniel Jackson. When we first stepped through the Stargate over a decade ago, we found that the galaxy was dominated by a race of beings known as the Goa'uld, a parasitical snake-like creature which burrows into the body of a human host and takes complete control. It was the Goa'uld Ra who Jack O'Neill and I defeated on the very first mission through the Stargate. Ra, along with many others of his kind, had posed as an ancient Egyptian god in order to enslave a transplanted human population. In fact, the identity, iconography, and wardrobe of pretty much every ancient god in human history has been purloined by the Goa'uld to dominate and enslave humans on other planets for thousands of years. That is until Stargate Command, along with the allies of Earth, managed to defeat the Goa'uld in the early 21st century.
I'm not even going to respond. I'm going to let my boy handle this.
Everything that guy just said is bullshit. Thank you.
Sound and the color.
Okay, it's already started. Thank you for leading me here. What you're going to start hearing about in the very near future are something called rods, and they will be something that will be videotaped.
The dude who made this, I don't know, he like doubled up on the music, so sorry for that. It's a little annoying, but it doesn't last that long.
And what they will be, what you will see are large streaks just shooting through the air that are etheric, but are being able to be captured on tape. And what you're seeing is literally fourth and fifth dimensional craft moving through space, not having the slightest clue that they're flying right through us. Okay? And that's because you're beginning to see the implosion. It's great stuff.
And ghosts.
Yes, you will see more ghosts, more apparitions, because those that are stuck between third and fourth density will start being more and more visible as our frequency starts to raise and rise. A lot of them, unless they are healed, and I do not know how to do that, how to set them free from their self-imposed prisons, will be exiting, transitioning. Angels, folks, be very careful about somebody who tells you they're an angel. For example, I've asked about the archangels, and the Andromedan perspective of that is that the Archangel Michael was literally a fleet of craft that were called Mikael. That was the name of the fleet. And they used to patrol the northern hemisphere of the planet when Orion was here in full force. Gabriel was the name of another fleet of craft, and so on and so forth. It has been changed and created into something that will save you and rescue you, when in fact, that was not the original intent at all. Okay. What's going to happen in the next 10 years? I will share this with you. There are definitely some things underneath the Sphinx, but the bulk of the real stuff that will tell us about our ancient history is still underneath the pyramid. And there was a vault built 3 levels deep, and the pyramid was built over it. Okay, that's where the real juice is. That's where the real knowledge is. The Sphinx will have some things, but it's a distraction. You know, these guys are real good at what they do, at diverting attention from reality, from truth. They're excellent at it. If they put that much energy into telling the truth, God, we'd all be out of here. You know?
They do lie about everything.
Okay, hold on 1 sec.
And I do mean everything.
I don't have it somewhere. Okay, things that are going to happen in the next 10 years. Number one, we're going to truly find out who we are genetically. Information will be coming from all corners of the earth from contactees. There will be more and more contacts, and they will tell us about the 22 different races and more of our history. There will also be massive earth changes. They will start with a magnetic pole shift, which could happen anytime between now and the year 2001. Things have been sped up. We're already starting to see the magnetic poles shift as we see birds migrate in the wrong direction at the wrong times of year. The birds move along the Earth's magnetic grid lines. And I wanted to share something with you. I'm very fascinated with the Native Americans. And I love to collect feathers when I find them on my journeys and my vision quests. And I was given this on 3/19 of 94, and I just want to share this with you. It's primarily about the Native Americans and the original intent behind them wearing the feather. In the ancient way, your native red American races understood the nature of the birds. The birds are very sensitive to magnetic fields and microwave energy, as you call it. They will migrate along the Earth energy grids, and their wings, which are made up primarily of feathers, were to be watched as they were very sensitive. To watch and follow the birds is to know which way the Earth's magnetic flows are moving. They would also, the Native American races, camp off these magnetic flows because the radiation would become harmful in time. The feathers are very sensitive to energy fields and magnetic fields. They are, in fact, an antenna. The feather would attract telepathic communication with all the tribe. As the chief would think or quietly discuss plans, the rest of the tribe would, in the ancient days, receive the message with few or no words.
Oh, but I thought they were stupid and they lived in teepees and couldn't really speak. They just, gestured towards each other and said, how? That's what I was taught.
By then, there began a classified program, and which was augmented further by events, as mentioned, in 1941, and then, of course, the famous Roswell event. Those events led to, as Philip Corso describes, a reverse engineering program. As you all know from the famous Wilbur Smith document of 1951 from Canada, it talks about that flying saucers exist, but there's a high-level team headed up by Dr. Vannevar Bush that is studying the, quote, modus operandi of these vehicles. Bush. These were the most brilliant scientists, executive, amazing developments in the biological sciences, and that can interface directly with what we call coherent thought, the same way that you can interface that was switched on. And this is in an FBI document that I can provide for the committee and is on the flash drive given to the Congress. The result ultimately was that there were trans-dimensional physics that began to be studied that deal with the nexus between electromagnetism, energy generation, anti-gravity, and consciousness. And we have discovered that there is a nexus and that, in fact, there are electromagnetic systems that have been developed that can interface directly with what we call coherent thought, the same way that you can interface with a system with lasers, which is coherent light, where you sync up all the wavelengths. Ultimately, these breakthroughs were paralleled with amazing developments in the biological sciences and the experimentation with cloning. And this began many years earlier than was reported from Dolly the sheep in Scotland. This goes a little beyond, I think, what this committee wants to look into.
In the 90s,
however,
all these breakthroughs.
You need to understand
clone a human
that
in like a year.
The technologies that we have, and we were discussing, are not theoretical. We have actionable intelligence that any committee in Congress or executive action can find regarding current operations. And I just want to go through a list of them very quickly of these facilities and corporations for which we have witnesses who can be subpoenaed by the committees of the Congress. This was developed at the request of Congressman Christopher Toks of Orange County and with whom I met, and was later further developed for the briefing that we put together for President Obama. These facilities are the Edwards Air Force Base and subsections where at the dry lake bed where the Lockheed Skunk Works operations, Haystack Butte, China Lakes, George Air Force Base, and the closed Norton Air Force Base were an anti-gravity device, so-called alien reproduction vehicle, for which we have the schematics, was seen by Frank Carlucci and others on our witness team. Tabletop Mountain and Blackjack Control.
I find it amazing how, like, the government just plays stupid. Like, oh, we don't know anything about these things. Like, what are they? We need to look into it. We know nothing. But meanwhile, the Navy's holding a patent for not only UFOs, but a whole lot of other interesting things. If you ever look into U.S. patents, government technology, or technology seized by the government, all sorts of great stuff. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. All these graphics and everything and the music, I did all that. So that's me putting effort into this. So if anybody sees this, maybe you can like and subscribe and share it or comment or whatever you got to do. Pump up my numbers. I need to get monetized and stuff. I need to feed